to find out what a town is all about, because you know what they have said? It's not the place that makes you, it's you that makes the place. When you have 100 copycats that know exactly how they want to run the city, and how to control the people in there, and what kind of business they want to have thriving. Because you know very well, whenever a town is run by only a few families, they're not going to allow any other big businesses to come in and prosper and succeed in that business. And that's not something that you can see in 5-10 years. It takes a couple decades. We look at Washington right now, the government, we look at all those cult groups and the elites. If I remember correct, there are about 1 billion elites in the world, all over the world, that are controlling and owning the world. But in each town, if they just take one person and pay that person enough money and good money to keep their eyes and their ears open and report, and based on their reports they can manipulate and have those properties that they seem to be worth something, or that business that just came up that could be potentially successful. If you don't get on their good side, they're gonna tear you apart. But that's something that it would be hard for you to believe, because you are most likely occupied and so busy in chasing your tail around in that schedule 9 to 5. That's what you were trained for, whether you want to call it or not. That's what your mission in life is. 9 to 5, get home. If you have a love partner and you have children, you barely say hi, good night, and next day in the morning, you wake up. You would be very lucky if you get to have breakfast with them in the morning. Because most of you don't. Because all of us have been trained to be the human cattle. You get sold, you get marked, you get to stay on your mission, making the money for those elites. But their times are coming to a point where those systems and those structures are falling. They're no longer good for you and me. Because not only they will tear you apart and take you away from that piece of property or that business that you have or you had, but they will try and set you up in so many ways. Let's say you're a single man. They will send you a beautiful woman, or maybe she is married. She will try and lure you into her beauty and enchant you, maybe into having an affair. If you are one of those weak men, you're gonna fall for it. Or if you are a woman, single woman, having a bit of trouble keeping up with your bills and sustaining, feeding your own children, if you have any children, or if you have a house and you happen to be running very close, limited money to keep up with your bills, they will send you somebody that's rich, somebody that's gonna tempt you to have something going on. Isn't that what happened with Diddy? How many people he had blackmailed? He was just the face of a major organization. He was just one tiny little link to the chain of events that have been going on for so many years. What about Epstein? Same thing. hard to prove? What about the one called George Bush Sr. and son, born in Germany, illegally occupied a position of a president, or at least that's what they have made us believe? What about the 9/11 event? They made us believe down. I think it's time for you to realize that you're not that stupid. They made you believe many things, but you're not going to continue believing, ignoring the true facts of what they have done to humanity. Bioweaponry, neural weapons, the sacrifices of so many, like 8 in the whole world. It's time for everybody to tell their own story. But more than anything, keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes open, because not everything that you see is what it seems. Your perception is failing you. You have been brainwashed. You are in an illusion. I want you to think about how many business acquaintances do you have that support you, that accept you as you are. Because if that's not the case, if you can't count any friends and no businesses that support you, why do you think that is? How much money do you have in your bank? What size property do you own? What names have you used throughout your lifetimes? How many times have you been married? How many relationships have you had? Wait a minute. Everybody knows that. All they have to do is just go on public records and get all your history, because they keep track of everything that you have done. They keep track of you as long as you walk around with that phone. As long as you have internet, as long as you have a TV, they keep track of everything. They keep track of what you're eating, the water you drink, the air you breathe, the food you eat, how much electricity you're using at your house, whether you have a dog, a cat, or you're surrounded by mice. And we are allowing other religions to come in here, and it's easy to be able to criticize them and say their men will take their wives and beat the living life out of them and force them to cover themselves from head to toe. Only their eyes are able to see, to peek through the day. There's no wars between Catholics, Baptist churches. All of them are cut exactly the same, because it's only a few flies that keep the shit stinking all around. They will make everybody turn against other, because they know that by keeping you separated, by keeping you divided, that's how they're gonna be able to keep you down and look at you like one more little ant in the pile. That human cattle. You're just a guinea pig. How many of you got the COVID-19? And there's a new one coming in. What about the ID? What about the terms under which you can receive food stamps? And they're gonna dictate you what you can buy and what you can't buy. But it is said the government, those people that are running the country, they were elected by the people. No, they were selected by the elites. You were just fooled and you made believe that you... Let me share with you a story. 20 years ago, I chose to move to another town. I had a business, had a brand new family coming up, 2 boys and a girl. And now 20 years later, I see how things work in a little town. Beautiful little town that everybody complains about how stinky it is. How the one mill that hires thousands of people is the only source of income for most families to survive in there. Home Depot tries to come in, they are blocked. Chili's tries to come in, they are blocked. I'm offered on my property a few times a certain amount of money, and I say no, because it's not enough. Because that is what my children will inherit, for them to have their own businesses. They sent somebody, and I want you to pay attention to this. They sent somebody that they want to set up a business and they want to rent a space. And all of a sudden, a few weeks pass by, months pass by, and that person does not even have the courtesy to say, oh, I found a better place. Thank you for the opportunity, but I have made up my mind on going somewhere else. This has not only happened one time, it has happened many times, about half a dozen times. Those people, they seem very enthusiastic about having their business set up in my property. But for some reason, something happened. What could have happened that made them change their mind? With no courtesy, because you and I know that if you had a mama and you have a daddy, the first thing that they taught you was for you to have manners and be respectful and be able to communicate with people, because whenever there is good communication, that's a sign that you are a successful businessman, a successful businesswoman. But when you allow somebody to give you a chunk of change, when you allow yourself to be bought, then I guess you forget about your manners, you forget about the discipline from your parents, from your family, and the education goes down to your toes because you have a little chunk of change. You know what Judas did? What did Judas do? Judas sold Jesus for a few coins. And I bet you anything, that happens in every town, such as the one I live in. And I will be back in a little while to continue with this, because this is a beautiful day to share my story. Let's be honest, it is also your story. Let's begin. Let's say 15. I'm sorry everybody, I didn't want to keep you waiting, but I was looking for an address and I found the address. But let's continue on with this story. And I want to say hello to Flor Maciera. Hello, hello. Let me see, which way am I supposed to go here now? Oh dear. Yeah, I think I gotta go to the right. So, what did I leave at? Okay, yeah, the part where some years later after my divorce, I started this relationship. The first couple months, it was fun, it was beautiful. The mother of my boyfriend then. She's a beautiful, amazing lady. Specific things because just to protect her identity. And the dad, a very important 3-letter agency. You know, there are many of those around. Then one day, the relationship starts going like sort of downhill. And I realize why. I'm working all the time. I'm a great cook. I wear many hats. I even taught myself to build from scratch a hunting, what do you call those things that go up on the tree? Where you can wait for the deer and you're wearing all your camel clothing and you're ready with your gun there for the poor deer to be pow pow. And 10-footers, and I processed them, assembled them, and I got 2 people. I got my boyfriend and somebody else to help me get it up on. Last time, not a couple of years ago, maybe I want to say about 3-4 years ago, I got to see it. So I guess I didn't do too bad. I had to end up building that by myself. When I finished in this relationship, I realized one thing. Why and how was I able to tolerate to have a relationship with somebody that in the beginning they were amazing, not only handsome, they had money, lived in a beautiful piece of property. This person did everything possible to not let me go. 6 months down the road in the relationship, I said to him, this is not gonna work out. And he said, why? I said, I think you and I should only keep ourselves as friends, nothing more. This is not gonna work out. And still, because I found out a couple things down the road, I felt that I could hang around and assist that person with something that they were battling. They were going through a battle of something. And I'm not gonna be specific about it either. I'm just gonna say that sometimes a woman's gotta know, have enough discernment that there are things in life that you cannot compete with. And that's what I felt. I felt that I did not want to set up a relationship and allow this relationship to go further in when you knew that there was limited growth for the relationship to be able to move forward. 2 years passed by. And a lot of things happened. He refused to let me go. Did everything possible. I would find notes and bouquets of flowers with cards and candies on my door, asking me to come back. I did not go back. A lot of ugly things happened. Now, if I was to look back at that relationship and I see the footprints of who could have influenced in that relationship, who made it turn the way it did. Because you know, all it takes is for somebody to whisper in your ear something. And if you are walking on one leg, you have one foot in the water and the other one on wet land, on dry land, they know exactly how to make you trip. They know how to make you be tempted. They know your strengths and they know your weaknesses. But because they have always known, most of the time, that I was not going to be the one to be tempted and fall for it, they would have to go after the person that I was with. Then some years later, I tried another relationship. And finally, it was about a month or so. Then he tells me, I can't stand it anymore. I cannot continue having them tell me all those things. Because I allowed him to have a couple beers every now and then. I myself don't drink. I cannot say that I've never drank, but I can tell you that with one beer, it knocks me out. It puts me to sleep. So I can imagine with somebody that likes to drink on a regular basis, like every week, a couple days throughout the week, I can imagine that they can make certain things blow out of proportion. And maybe they are mishearing things. But now looking back, I can say that I know exactly what happened. So let's say there was 2 relationships that in 15 years of me being divorced, that I have made the attempt, that everything was going right, living together. We had agreed on certain things, and before you know it, everything it's all turned upside down. Why? You can tell me why. Nobody's whispering in my ear. Nobody knows how to whisper in my ear because they know me too well. But they want me to fail. They want me to look like I am a failure. If up until now I have been able to support myself and assist my 3 children, pay my bills, and I don't have that schedule of 9 to 5, tell me, how do I do it? And I have that piece of property that somebody wants so badly. There's somebody in town that has a house number of 724. I hear he's been putting a lot of money out there. Is he one of the archons, or maybe he's one of those Judas that's just keeping an eye out for who is who in the town and trying to get things? You know the fox in Dora the Explorer, swiper, don't swipe? Is he the one that's trying to swipe, or is he just the snitch, the busybody, the one that's gonna let somebody else know when he can snatch, when he can swipe the property or try to swipe me? Let me tell you another story. I get sent. I go ahead and I do this remodeling job for a couple in town. Everything goes good. I get paid my money. The place looks beautiful. And this happened in 2 different locations. In one particular month, I did it in the area of Baton Rouge. I remodeled the whole living room, installed floors, painted the walls, painted the popcorn ceiling. If you know what it takes and how involved that can be. I ripped apart all the doors. I refinished every one of them. Installed new moldings, baseboard, shoe molding, crown molding. Painted the walls, a couple bathrooms, the pantries. Took the doors off, refinished them, made them look like new. And I might post some of those pictures. I have to go in my pictures and dig them out. Both jobs, one in Bogalusa, one in Baton Rouge, months apart. The one in Baton Rouge, somebody went in there. When the couple went on a vacation, they went in there and they destroyed the whole kitchen. Can you imagine what those people felt that everybody's been? Her name was a very beautiful name. I'm not going to describe her characteristic or give their name up. But they even got to suspect that it was me that went back to their house and destroyed their house. But they had somebody investigated. I still wonder who was found out, who invaded their house. Then the job in Bogalusa, I remodeled the kitchen, the walls, the pantries, all the cabinets. Took the face frame of the sink cabinet, built by myself with nobody's help. Sink cabinet, installed it, popped in there the face frame, because remember, when you do refinishing on an old kitchen, you're using the old material and you're giving it a facelift. You're making, that's one specialty that I'm very good at. As long as there is enough material to be salvaged, it is worth to have a facelift, to have a kitchen be remodeled. And I did. I did a whole bookcase. That particular couple, they paid me. Some weeks later, I chose to go on a trip. I went out of the country. And while I was on that vacation, I get this phone call. And guess who it is? This man that is supposed to be happily married, he begins to ask me and propose me an indecent proposal. And you know that an indecent proposal from a man to a woman, you don't need to have very many words to describe that. And he starts saying, I have contacts, I am acquainted with a lot of very rich people. And we can do this, and we can do that. And you can be my side piece. And at that moment, I sort of knew what it meant, but I wasn't sure. Now that I look back, I realized like, oh, so I was good enough to tempt him and offer me all those things. Offered business, offered money, offered everything. And I said, I think that you need to dedicate yourself to your wife. His wife, even to this day, she works hard. And because of her, I got the job to remodel the kitchen and the bookcases at that house. And there were other options, but because I did not accept that indecent proposition, so I no longer got a chance to continue doing more projects for them. I'm not sure if you are one of those people, but at least myself, I take pride in the work that I do. I'm good at it. And I feel that whenever I want a love partner, I don't need to be taking somebody that's busy, somebody that's taken by another woman. There is enough single men out there for me to find my own. Now, it's been about, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, I saw that man on a wheelchair, barely able to walk on his own. His faithful and loyal wife dragging his tail into the car. Such devotion. If she only knew what her husband has been capable of. Because I don't doubt that I was the first one. Because you and I know, in some towns they talk about couples, about a lot of people that belong to these clubs. They call them swingers, I believe that's the name of it. If I'm pronouncing it, if I'm sharpening it up, that label, I'm not going to ask you to excuse me because my English is getting better looking every day. So if that's what he intended for me to be in a swinger, anyways, relationship with him, he got the message very clearly way over there when I was on my vacation. Every now and then I see that car drive by. After that happened, I would see that car drive by every now and then. There is no money in the world that's gonna make me turn against my moral values. About a year ago, another couple, another man that goes around all over the country buying 200 acres of land here, flips it around, goes over there to another state, buys another 300 acres of land, flips it around, goes over there, buys a refinery for an X amount of dollars, so many acres, flips it around. He calls himself that he's a billionaire. He came to me with his girlfriend. He has a son that has a high position in the court. And he offered me, proposed text messages on my phone still. He proposed to me to join and be the third one. I took it like a joke because I said, if he's a billionaire, why would he pick me? What is it so special about me? Well, I'm only like 20 something years younger. I can say that because of the age and because I wear many hats, that's 2 pluses. But out of all the beautiful women out there, why me? I didn't pay much attention to it until finally a couple months ago, it hit me. And I was like, oh, then that's what they're trying to do. This smells like another trap. It hasn't been one trap. It has been many traps over a period of time of 15 years. Because you know what happens? Once you catch the mouse going for the cheese or the peanut butter, you got them by the mouth. Just like they made Clinton wear that beautiful blue dress or purple dress, was it, with high heels? They can make anybody do anything. So it's no difference. That's what you gotta prepare for. The latest thing, the 2 latest things that I can say to you that has happened is there was another business that was very enthusiastic about coming and starting at my place. And I know that I was told, in a little time from now, maybe weeks, maybe a couple months, things will start moving. 3 months go by, 4 months go by, and I don't hear nothing. Then I find that person on the road and I ask, what happened? That person cannot hold eye contact. Their body language, it's twitching all over the place. And I said, bingo, you fell for it too. Another Judas? Did he even get paid something? Or was he just threatened of something? Or to have something happen for him? The very latest thing is a friendship that I thought that it was not gonna be tarnished. Somebody went in there and whispered on their ear something. And I'm not gonna be going there to find out exactly what could have happened, what was said, because you know what? If you are my friend, and you are a true friend, and you don't allow yourself to be swindled, to be bought, to have somebody whisper in your ear, if you have any value, if you have any pride, and you value your life, and you want your business to succeed, you are strong enough on your own. You don't need to become a hypocrite. You don't need to stop talking to people and show another face that you are not. There is a lot of hypocrite people in this town and in every town. Why? Because hypocrisy comes whenever you allow somebody to set a price on your head, on your loyalty. And you cannot be honest to yourself. You cannot walk the streets with your head up high and say, I know my worth. So how many friends do you have in your hands? How many friends can you count with the fingers of one hand and say, these are truly my friends? These are businesses that I admire, that I respect. I can tell you only on one hand, and that's in all the whole world. The greed, the filthy money, the filth of dishonesty goes so far deep, goes so low that hardly anybody can stop it. And you think this adrenochrome and human sacrifices? And I can say this video is only for entertainment purposes only. But this is a story that whether you choose to believe it or not, it happens in every town. They don't want you to be happy. They will not stop until they see you down. The beginning of 20 years ago, almost, I thought that I had gone into a church and I had requested somebody's assistance because I felt that I was being talked about, that I was being stepped on like a tree. When you cut a tree down, you don't only step on it, you keep cutting it and chopping it up in small pieces until all the wood is burned down. That was just the beginning. Because you see, people don't know how to forgive. People don't know how to enjoy somebody else's progress. They don't know how to enjoy somebody else's winnings. They don't know how to enjoy when somebody else succeeds or wins an award for something. People don't know how to celebrate for somebody else because jealousy and envy is the first thing. That's what you have been taught. You, the slave of the mind of a slave. That slave's mind only wants, what about me? What about me? And why so and so? And that's the main reason why many generations, not only they have gone through to where they have not been able to gather up what they have left for their future generations because it has been destroyed because of jealousy, because of greed. It is absolutely disgusting how far people are willing to go. And now I have stopped. I can say Flor Macías. Perdón, hermosa. Más al rato voy a estar haciendo un video en español y voy a estar compartiendo todo esto, ¿ok? Pero esta vez era necesario hacerlo todo en inglés. Dentro de una media hora lo voy a estar haciendo en español, ¿ok? It is absolutely disgusting to know that people go saying, I belong to this family, and I own this and this and that, and I have gone to this certification, and I have been award winning for this, and I go to this church. You're just a bunch of hypocrites. Because when you go around trying to tear every person, every business, every small little business, and I can assure you, do you know how many times I have seen those crafts, helicopters spraying their shit around on farms? And check out the videos. There's a lot of farmers coming out and saying they're killing our cows. They're not only killing your cows, they're trying to kill your farms. I myself, I had a little yard. I spent a lot of time and quite a bit of money. And a cantaloupe should have been around 10 inches in diameter. If I tell you that that cantaloupe was 2.5 inches, and I got only 2 out of my yard when I should have gotten like 20 of them, I'm falling very short. What about the squash, the zucchini, the watermelon, and all the other different plants that I had? They will not want you to succeed. They don't want you to have anything to offer to the town because they want to kill every town. They want to kill every family that has some kind of stability. They're not only soulless beings, but they're using a bunch of idiots that are walking around with a price tag on their forehead and selling themselves like Judas for a little bit of change. So watch it. Whoever comes near me, you better watch it. Because my hand will not tremble. And my lips will not be sealed from letting you know what I think about you. Low life, undisciplined, Judas, you're building your own life. Not only you are building your own life, you're building your own world. I give you 2 years to decide what kind of world you want to live for eternity. because you can live with all those archons and demiurge in their world, because not you or anybody's gonna be able to influence me into changing my light. Because you see, I love life since I was little. I have had the crap beaten out of me. So I would lose that light and that love. And you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get it and take it out of me. Because I know what my true worthy is. Just like Jesus said, my kingdom is not written in stone. My kingdom is not written in stone either. And I can see you, I can smell you. And that one that laughs last. And you can have all the laughters now. Because your days are counted. You're coming down. Because we are more. We are raising our voices and our vibration is so high that your cowardly self cannot stand how strong we are becoming. And we're coming for you. My ancestors are coming for you. So beware. Watch out. Because we know exactly where you live. We know who your whole family is. We know those places that the rats hide at. My ancestors are watching you while you watch me. And for those beautiful, good people that have heard this, I will continue with sharing more stuff later on. In the meantime, remember, if you have a soul, I love your soul. And I love your existence. And stay strong. It will not be the first time. It will not be the last time that they'll attempt to do something against you. And remember, they can't come close to you because your loving light, it blinds them. And they're slaves. They can only get paid so much to try and harm you. Because they all try and take everything away from you. But they cannot take away that treasure that you hold within you. That no thief can come in the night and steal it from you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.